Hi, everyone. I'm Pastor Alexander. This is Audience of One. Vision. Goal. Where do I want to go? Check this out. You got to have a vision for your life. Life is all about vision. Goals. If a man doesn't have a vision, if a woman doesn't have a vision, someone else can point them where they need to go. And they will not be, you ain't going to be happy about it. You got to get out of life what you want. A goal. What is your goal? What do you want to do with your life? What happens, I find, is that people talk about doing something with their life, but this is a new year. 2025, you now have an opportunity to start afresh. And that's how people measure their life, actually. They look at it like every year, they say, hey, I got this resolution, this is my goal for this year. And even though they have an ultimate goal, but year by year actually just measures us how close we are to our big goal, to where we want to be at in life. Don't get discouraged. You don't have to. I like to call it like someone traveling. Say like if you was going from here to Georgia or to Florida. If you live here in Michigan, you get on I-75 South. And every now and then you see signs that how far you are from your destination. And that's what the goal is about. Is that you got to write it out. The Bible tells us that we should write a vision and make it plain. That's what Habakkuk tells us. So what's your goal for this year? What's the vision, 2025? Well, the number one thing is, I believe, me and my wife would do, me and Evelyn would always talk about what we're going to do for this year. Like, what is going to be our vacation? That's the number one thing you should do, is take care of you. So many times people talk about the bills, they talk about all the other things, but they forget about them. And they never take a vacation. When I say vacation, I'm talking about don't just take off from work so you can clean up your house. That's not a vacation. That's still work. I'm speaking of that you work hard, you're supposed to play hard. You gotta make time for you. You should be, like the first thing I'm gonna write down is where am I going to go for a vacation? That needs to be wrote down. Because if you don't write it, you're not gonna do it. Write it down. Where do you wanna go? Next thing is, you should have a God purpose. Purpose of what you want to do if you're a Christian, you should want to do something as a Christian. If you're a person that want to accomplish weight loss, you got to put goals out there. You got to be willing to give up some things. You got to put a picture. If it's an older picture of you fit, put that up there. Look at it every day. Just put it on your mirror. That's goal. That's vision. Get an idea. See yourself of where you want to be. That's vision. Let it be burning in you. Because if you keep seeing it, that desire, that passion just grow. You just don't even want it. It's like, it drives you. It's what makes you get up. So you can get closer to attaining it. I remember when I wanted to be a real estate investor. I'll never forget that. I became so dissatisfied on those jobs that I was working. But I got around someone who was a real estate investor, and I would go and look and see what they were doing, and it would just feed that passion. It just kept growing and growing. Then it got to a place where it didn't matter how uncomfortable it was. Whatever I had to do, I was going to fulfill this goal. I was going to do this vision. And it became I became so excited about Mondays. Think about that. When you have vision, Mondays is exciting. Fridays become like your Mondays used to be. You know, like you go to a job you don't like, and on Mondays, like, man, I gotta get up this morning. That's how it was for me. And it was like Friday, oh, I'm so glad Friday is here. Time to party. Not anymore. It's like, oh, I'm so glad Sunday is here. Monday is tomorrow. Oh man, I get to play again. That's how you know when you really in the flow. That's how you know that you really about vision. But as long as you coming to the end, like, oh man, I'll be glad when this Friday comes. That division has not resonated in you. Vision causes a drive. Vision is what makes you wake up in the morning. Vision is what makes you keep it in the flow. What's the flow? Whatever that goal is. Number one, write it down. No matter how big it is, write it down. No matter what it is, write it down. Writing is to keep you focused so you don't veer off to doing other things. When you're a person in vision, there will always be other things to come along to try to distract you. Vision keeps you focused. Distractions could be from family, from friends. What matters most? Is it that you satisfy others, or you're going to fulfill and satisfy yourself reaching the goal? People will try to talk you out of it. They'll say you don't have time for this. Well, when you're changing your life and you're about goals and vision, then that becomes priority. Not so much as the opinion of others that you're no longer doing what you used to do. You have to evaluate friendship, evaluate parties you want to go to. Wherever you're going to do, it needs to be where it's not taking you away from that vision. Is it in line to getting you closer to the vision? Do you consider the cost of what it takes? Are you willing to pay the price to get there? Vision. Vision. Everybody who becomes rich, wealthy, all starts with a vision. Being in your own business, vision. I think about it this way. It was in 1997. I'll never forget this. Listen to this. There used to be a guy who used to come on TV who used to talk about buying real estate properties. And just so happened at that time, my wife was working for the bank, and her boss had this particular, this whole program, this whole, material that I wanted. And she gave it to her. Listen to this. The boss gave her this material that I was wanting. The boss figured she wasn't going to use it, so she gave it to me. I got that material in January of that year. I got the material and started listening to it, started doing it. In September of that year, I bought my first house. In December of that year, I left my job. The boss that gave her the material was still working at that job. Think about it this way. A year later, things was really going well. After that, my wife left her job, but the boss was still at that job. Years later, we going on, living now by our vision. But the boss was still at that job. Why? No vision. They didn't see themselves being able to do that. They didn't see themselves being further up. You see, if you don't have vision, you'll stay where you are, where you were last year. You'll be where you are at the end of this year. You'll be just the same position, the same spot. You gotta have a vision, because that's what's gonna move you forward. People talk about things like, I want to get married. Well, you gotta, first of all, look like somebody that somebody want to know. You just can't keep looking the same if ain't nobody saying hi. So if you want to have a new person in your life, you gotta look like somebody that's can be attractive. If you want to drive something better, do something more. Just add to your life. The Bible talks about add to your faith, knowledge. You need to be informed about what you want to do. That's what it takes on vision. Knowing the cost, knowing what it will take to get you there. Write it down and speak over it. Why? Words causes movements. Words keeps us in line. Words produces things. That's how we get it going from our faith standpoint. Words. Tell you what Jesus said. Jesus said that if you say to a mountain, be removed, what's the mountain? Obstacles. Obstacles in your life. There's going to always be an obstacle. When you're running, there's going to be an obstacle. However, be willing to leap over it. Jesus said you can speak to it, and it's going to be removed. Why? Because you believe it. Believing and speaking will produce the outcome. What's your outcome? Your vision. Where do you want to go? Vision. I want to be a millionaire. How am I going to get there? What does it take to be a millionaire? What arena are you wanting to produce that in? If you're just talking about an arena that only have a cap of 100,000, then you're going to have to find another avenue whereby to make it happen. Well, I want to be in the salon business. Then you may need to own more than one salon, because you're not going to get $1 million just keep doing hair. You're going to have other things to be working to get there. Like owning, having others to be working of these at other salons. Childcare, you're going to have to work it. You need to know all the ins and outs of that industry. Anybody that wants to do something, whatever arena you're in, if you want to go higher, you need to read about those who did it and accomplished. You need to learn more about it. That's what it takes. It's not going to just take it, just you doing it in your hand. You may need to multiply. You may need to cause others to come along. You can do it. Real estate investing, easy to make $1 million. Stock market investing, easy to make $1 million. Billions actually, but see, I learned from others who had already done it. That's what vision does. You get around people that's doing what you want to do. And you ask them questions. Hey, how did you do that? What do I need to do? Because it lets you know what to expect. What is the cost it takes to get there? Because desire is not the only thing that will get you there. Desire just gives you focus. It gives you a goal. But what gets you there is the willingness to stay with it. The willingness to go about it. The willingness to give up some time. The willingness to sacrifice. The willingness to deal with the discomfort right now, but to keep moving beyond that. And every day, check off your list. Make a schedule for yourself. Why? Because if you don't schedule it, you won't do it. scheduling is important. Check, I remember this, listen to this. This is funny. Because I still remember to this day where I kept saying, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a real estate investor. Let me tell you what happened to me. While I was learning about it and some things transpired, I remember Evelyn, my wife, she got, she was tripping. She started like getting a little attitude about it. Saying, well, I remember this day she was going to work, and I would get up in the morning and I would go to my television and I would put on this video. First of all, I would listen to the Word of God on faith, and then I would be watching this material. And I remember this, that one day she was coming in and I could tell the way she was walking and, breathing all hard because she was mad. And like, what are you going to be doing today? I said, oh, I'm going to be sitting right here watching this. Is that all you're going to do? Yeah. All right, anyway, then she closed the door. I saw her walking by, and I was like, I looked at her as she was going by the window. I said, she just don't know. I'm out. She just don't realize I know what I'm doing. We ain't going to be living in this apartment much longer. We ain't going to be sleeping on the air mattress continuously. I'm already out. You see, vision gets you out of the situation before you even experience it. That's what vision does. You are no longer affected by how you're sleeping, by how your bank account look, because the vision has got you believing that this is only temporary. Better days ahead for me. That's what vision does. And then, listen, vision got in her. What happened? She came back home. She got her attitude right. She started getting the vision. She brought me a newspaper and said, you know what? Since you're going to be an investor, you might as well start looking for a house. That day, the house, my very first purchase, was in that newspaper. That one. My first call I made, I remember this man telling me, this is how he was talking. Sound to me, son, you sound like you done read some kind of book or something. You don't know what you're doing. You need to go and get some professional to help you out. I wasn't discouraged. I said, you know what? That fool don't even know what he's talking about. Because see, when you have your vision, you make your first step, there may be this challenge there that say you can't do it. Don't let that bother you. Let the vision speak. Your vision is calling you saying, come on, come on, come on. You can do it. One long, I got the house. One long, I bought the house. One long, we sold the house. Wasn't long, I was out of that company. If you're waking up on Monday mornings and you hate going where you go and you keep doing it, it's time to get your vision. It's time to be about your life, doing what you would love to do. If you wasn't paid for it, you would still do it. Get about that. That's your drive. That's the passion. And go at it 100. Because until then, you will never be satisfied. Vision brings fulfillment. I gotta go, but I look forward to seeing you in your vision, and I look so forward to you experiencing the vision you have in you. Until next time, enjoy the ride along the way, the vision.